Hi, boys and girls. Mrs. Kappel here. How are you today? I have my calendar today. So let's take a look at our Wednesday. Today is Wednesday, May 20th, 2020. Lots of 20s. So let's make this a zero the hero day and practice counting by tens. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. I can count by tens up to 100. I can count by tens. Here I go again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. 70, 80, 90, 100. Good job. So, boys and girls, are you practicing your numbers from 1 to 100 every day? I know you are. I heard about some of your great work yesterday as you were coming to the school to pick up your classroom items. It was so wonderful to see all of you. I really miss you all so much, and I can't wait till we see each other again. So today, I wanted to share with you our new book called Deep Sea Creatures. So I know we were talking a lot about the parts of a fish yesterday, but there are other kinds of sea creatures that might not look just like the fish that we drew in our pictures yesterday. So, Deep Sea Creatures is a nonfiction book. That means it is a read about the world book filled with lots and lots of important facts and real facts, of course. Okay, so let's get started. The ocean is filled with colorful fish, amazing animals, and all kinds of plants. Most of this life is very close to the water's surface. But remember, we talked about where the surface is, right? That's the area where the sun can come down through it, it reaches the water, and it helps the plants grow. And in those areas, there's lots of food for the fish and other animals. And these are some kinds of fish that live close to the surface. It tends to be warmer too. The water is warmer because the sun is warming it. So here's the layers of the sun, as you can see right here. And most plants and animals live in that area near the surface. That's about 200 feet. And then there are other animals that live here in the middle part of the ocean, about between 200 and 1,000 feet. So that's pretty deep. But then as you go deeper and further away from the surface and away from the sunlight, the water gets much colder and very few animals live here. So as you travel down, you will find a very different world. Now, here's a quick fact. The temperature in the deep parts of the ocean is near freezing. So that's how cold it is. Now, this deep ocean, it's dark and it's gloomy, and it's very, very cold. Plants do not grow here, and only a few kinds of animals can live here. Can you see those? They look a little like skeleton fish, don't they? Well, many deep sea animals are not brightly colored. So let's go back to this picture of the surface. Do you see the difference? See how bright and colorful they are? Well, that's not the case here because why have bright colors if it's too dark for anybody to see you? So the fish can't see each other. So this is called a fang tooth fish. Take a look at those fangs. Pretty cool, huh? Sharp teeth like that. And these fish sometimes travel in small schools. Now, a group of fish that travel together in the ocean or in the rivers, it's called a school of fish. So you are all like my little fish, and that would be a school of us. So many deep sea animals have big mouths and long pointy teeth, and some can even glow in the dark. Can you think of another creature that's going to be coming out soon around our houses and our backyards that glows in the dark? We think we talked about lightning bugs, right? That's because they have a special type of body. And when they light up like that, it's called bioluminescence. Let's clap that out. Bioluminescence. That is a big word with lots and lots of word parts. And this is an anglerfish. So this is the part of his body that lights up. And a fish might see that and be attracted to that sort of light. And then guess what happens? Gulp. That's how he eats them. Okay, let's go into the next chapter. So can you see what that is? Yeah, that's like a little submarine, right? It's a special submarine. So, how do we know about the animals and the creatures so deep in the water? Well, you have to be a scientist. That's right. Scientists love to find out about the deep ocean, but they don't swim down there. It's not okay for people to swim. It's too deep and it's too cold. But they can travel in a special submarine called a submersible. And it's kind of like a little submarine. And as you can see here, this is a submersible that's going into the water. They have a crane on a bigger boat, and there's actually a robot in there collecting all sorts of information about the ocean. And that submersible, that little submarine, can go down at least 6,000 feet. So that is very, very far. Scientists also send robots down to the ocean. The robots have arms to collect samples and cameras to take pictures. So those are the little arms, and they're taking samples of maybe some rock or some whatever they find down there that they're looking to study, parts of the sea floor. Okay, so this is a deep sea cucumber. Cucumber like the kind we eat? Well, this is a sea creature, and he can live for many, many years. So, some of the things that scientists have found is this deep sea cucumber. It's not a vegetable, it's an animal with lots of, what do you think those are called? Tentacles, right? So, this is also a deep sea creature, and he's got an important job. He cleans up the ocean. That's right. He eats trash that falls from boats, uh, lots of other things that just kind of fall down to those deep layers. But he doesn't move. He's a predator. He waits for tiny animals to float by and trash and things that come down and go chews them up for his dinner. He kind of looks a little see through, doesn't he? Very interesting little creature. That's called a predatory tunicate. Fascinating fish. So this is the deep sea spotted ratfish. The deep sea spotted ratfish. I guess because he's got a little nose that looks like a rat, maybe. Plenty of fish live deep in the ocean, just like that one. This is called the deep sea cat shark. Now, this shark has special eyes to see in the dark water. It also has a great sense of smell. So take a look at that. Pretty cool looking, huh? Now, this cat shark munches on worms that are buried in the muddy ocean floor. Get that off of my please. The deep sea swallower is the name of this fish. This fish can open its jaws super wide. Wow, I've never seen that fella. There's his jaw. There's the arrow. See when we label our drawings? This fierce fish can swallow fish that are much bigger than itself. How? It has a very big mouth. It also has a very stretchy body that expands to hold big meals. So, looks like he may have eaten something, and this is the part of his body that the food hadn't gotten to yet. So you can see how big it stretches. That is a pretty cool creature. The deep sea swallower. Oh my. What does that one remind you of? A little, maybe like a snake? That's what I think. Well, he's called a viper fish. And there is a eyelash viper. That's another kind of snake too. So they look very similar. That's why scientists get their labels for things, by things that they've seen in nature. Let's take a look at this scary fish. Its teeth are so long they don't fit in its mouth. Scientists named it a viper fish because it reminded them of a snake. So those are his teeth. I didn't realize that. It's so big that they don't fit in his mouth. Oof, these are interesting creatures under the sea. Okay, so this fish is only as long as a crayon, but it's still pretty spooky looking. It has big eyes on top of its head to spot food that floats down from above. Again, the eyes are kind of interesting looking because it's very dark in that part of the ocean. So they have different kinds of eyes. Now, this is what this hatchet, it's called a hatchet fish. And this is what he looks like from the side, and this is what he looks like when you're looking straight on. And they are found in oceans all over the world, the deep sea hatchet fish. So this is called the lantern fish. Now I wonder why. Why do you think they call those the lantern fish? Yes, a lantern is something that lights up, and these lantern fish light up. They have little lights that glow on their heads and their bellies. They sometimes swim up to the surface of the ocean to look for food. Lantern fish. They glow like a lantern. Have you ever seen an old fashioned kind of lantern like that? Yeah, you put oil in there and it's got a wick like a candle and you light it. Well, a grown up lights it with a match because we don't touch matches, right? Okay, chapter 4, New Discoveries. One of the most fascinating animals of the deep sea is the giant squid. Yet we know very little about it. Why? Only a few people have ever seen a live giant squid. So, how did scientists gather facts about giant squid? They examined a few dead ones that washed up on beaches. So, examined means to study it closer. And let's check the chart to see what they have learned. So, this is a scientist right there, and he is studying a giant squid that has died. So, look at the size of the scientist. That's a full grown adult, full grown person. And then look at how big that giant squid is. Okay, let's find out some facts. Giant squids are white in color. They have 8 arms, kind of like an octopus that has 8 arms. They have 2 tentacles. They have very large eyes. They live deep in the ocean, and they are about 20 to 60 feet long. And giant squid are powerful predators. What does that word predator mean, boys and girls? They are hunters, right? They hunt for food. They're meat eaters. And finally, we have the deep sea dragon. So, this is another incredible animal that lives deep in the ocean. As scientists explore this dark and mysterious world, we will surely learn about many more. And this book only talked about a couple. The deep sea dragonfish has a light that hangs down from its chin, and it uses it like a fishing pole to attract prey. So, what is that bit of light called? Do you remember that big word we clapped out? Bioluminescence. Right. Okay. So, this being a science book, but also a chapter book, but also a nonfiction book, also has a glossary. So, when you see a glossary like this in a book, it shows the important words. So, here's the word mysterious on this page. And you see how it's written in dark black type? All of those words are found here in the glossary. And there is the word mysterious, something very hard to explain or understand. It also gives you kind of like, see how it looks like funny words? It's the way you sound out that word. That's how super readers use their super sound power. They are stretching it out. So let's look at it. Mysterious. That's how you sound out a big word. Mysterious. Right. Look at how big bioluminescence is. Bioluminescence. See how you can sound that out? That's how super readers figure out big words like that. Okay. Now, if you're reading a book that has these comprehension questions, that just is a good way for you to make sure that you are understanding what you're reading. Remember, boys and girls, Mrs. Kappel wants you to make sure that when you're practicing your reading lessons, that you are picking books that are just right for you and not too difficult when we're practicing our reading lessons. When you're reading from information like this, absolutely get help from a partner. And answering those questions is a good way to say, "Oh, I thought that this book was kind of confusing," or, I know the answers to all those questions. I really understood my reading. So remember, boys and girls, when you come upon a new book, like if you're reading from Unite for Literacy or if you're reading from Big Universe, you read that book first by yourself. Then you go back and you talk to your partner. You tell your family all about what's happening in that book. Your family member should know everything about that book as if they read it themselves. And then you get your partner and you reread that book together to your parent. Okay, my friends, have a great day of reading together. I miss you. Bye bye for now.